Professor Chilani, what is your appreciation? The Baloch Liberation Army seems to have better intelligence and they're more nimble-footed. They seem to be better in operations. If they're able to hijack a train, if they're able to target a convoy and melt, into the mountains once again, what does this show about the Pakistan army? They have a core headquarters in Quetta. The 12th Corps is based there, and somewhere down the line, they seem to be, very flat-footed in their response.
You're absolutely right, Gaurav. In fact, the spate of attacks have followed a unity conclave of Baluch separatists. The PLA and the smaller separatist groups have decided to come together and coordinate their attacks. So we are seeing an upsurge of insurgency in Balochistan. And this upsurge is expected to lead to a stepped up Pakistani military campaign against the Baluch insurgents. Also, there is a foreign element to this insurgency. It is the China angle. Balochistan, as you know, is central to the China-Pakistan economic corridor, which explains why Baluch separatists have attacked both Pakistani and Chinese targets. And when the Baluch unity conclave was held, the separatists warned China that they're going to increasingly target Chinese interests in Balochistan. The BLA has identified China as an adversary as it is propping up Pakistan's colonial-style rule in Balochistan, including exploiting Balochistan's vast natural resources while Pakistan keeps the province underdeveloped and the Baluch people marginalized. And China, of course, has expressed increasing concern over the security of its projects and citizens. And last year, if you would recall, that the BLA carried out a daring attack outside Karachi airport, targeting Chinese nationals. And that attack brought sino-pak relations under pressure. However, even though now the Pakistan military is seeking China's increased financial and logistical support in its operations in Balochistan, China may be reluctant to extend more support to Pakistan for fear of inviting greater Baluch attacks on its interests.
Interesting, you should point that out, and let me bring in Munir Memon to respond, because China was also talking about perhaps putting boots on ground. Munir, as a Pakistani citizen who's in your country, I'm told virtually everyone's looking forward to increase Chinese investments in the China-Pakistan economic corridor. So are these attacks a setback for those CPEC investments of the $60 billion? We are told, according to some reports, it's just about $25 to $28 billion that's been invested, and the rest has been held up.
Gaurav, since last 25 years, I've been listening to this thing that Balochistan will be separated from Pakistan. It hasn't happened till now, and I'm sure it will never happen again. Whatever happened in 1970, that was an incident, but now I'm telling you quite surely that this is not going to ever happen in Pakistan. Secondly, talking about the CPEC, Chinese investment, you're talking about Chinese, what I talked to earlier also, that Chinese are not that interested that they're putting their boots on Pakistan soil. Yes, there are terrorist attacks. Yes, there are some issues in Pakistan, but the Chinese investment is there. Recently, Gwadar Airport has been inaugurated, and it was inaugurated in a way that it was highly celebrated across Pakistan and China. International flights.
Okay. It remains to be seen how many people come to that airport, how many flights land on that airport. There are reports in Pakistani media, Munir, that there is no water, even electricity for that airport comes from Iran. That would raise many questions. But Ahmar, Mustaqan, Baloch liberation fighters have said and repeatedly said China is fair game in their war of independence. Now, when journalists like Munir Memon or when Pakistanis say there is no way that Balochistan can ever become independent, it will never be Bangladesh 2.0. Is Bangladesh 2.0 a pipe dream, sir?
No, sir, it's not a pipe dream. It is becoming a reality, as you can see. We are Baluch. We can never be suppressed, no matter how strong the adversary is. We are going to win. We are the David who are fighting two Goliaths. One is the jihadist Pakistan military, and the second is the PLA. And we are going to defeat them. And we don't give any right to the United States to call us terrorists. The United States itself is the biggest terrorist in the world. And I would like to please clarify here that the biggest separatists are the Punjabi military generals of Potohar. They don't want to look at this guy, Asim Munir. His roots are in Jalandhar, and he is, you see, anxious to wage jihad against India. He is anxious to wage jihad in Balochistan. And when they come to us, we are going to send them to heaven so they can enjoy their lives with 77 virgin angels and 22 beach bottom boys.
Okay, I want to bring in Professor Brahmachalani once again into this conversation. Sir, when China, when China-Pakistan economic relations are at their lowest, when the strategic ties, they claim they're very strong, Professor Chilani, are those relations actually strong? Will China actually put boots on ground? Or if their civilians have been killed, whether it's at a Confucius Center or at the Karachi airport or at a dam, at the Dasu Dam or at multiple other locations, they would dare not put boots on ground.
Well, China has expressed increasing concern over the security of its projects and citizens, saying that further Chinese investments in Pakistan hinge on creating a more secure environment. But China doesn't want to put its own security personnel on the ground in Balochistan, because that will clearly give the impression to all in Balochistan that China is aiding the occupation of Balochistan. Or as it is, China's security footprint in Balochistan is increasingly obvious, and that's one reason why China is inviting attacks by Baluch separatists. But look at the bigger picture, Gaurav. Today, the situation of Pakistan, both economically and politically, is quite dire. And to make matters worse, Pakistan is facing a likely travel ban by the Trump administration. In fact, it's on a list of countries, a list that has been prepared by the State Department, has to be vetted and approved by the White House, but it's on that list of countries who are required to address, quote unquote, deficiencies within 60 days or face a US travel ban. So given these realities and given what's happening in Balochistan, if the leadership in Pakistan were wise, they would seek to address the historical grievances, the political and economic marginalization, and the human rights concerns in Balochistan, which are at the root of the Baluch problem. Or just look at things that are never, for example, even recognized in the media in Pakistan or in the international media. The Baluch culture is very distinct culture. The Baluch language has been completely marginalized in Balochistan. Yes. There's an attempt to crush the Baluch identity in Balochistan. How does the Pakistani state expect the Baluch people to tolerate Pakistani rule when even the identity of the Baluch people is sought to be crushed?
And it's systematically being crushed.